We go through this every year. You know perfectly well what holiday it is.
Okay. Happy Halloween, everybody. Whoopee.
Row 18, plot 20.
Halloween is a prime spooky holiday, so naturally many horror films are set on and around the scariest day of the year. Which one is your favorite? Here are 13 of Fangoria's favorite horror movies set on Halloween. Make sure to leave comments down below what your favorite movie is. First on the list is All Hallows Eve, Terrifier, and Terrifier 2. We're marking those all together. Those range from 2013 to 2022. Damien Leone's creation, Art the Clown, started in his Halloween-themed anthology film All Hallows Eve, in which Art is featured in the first and third stories, The Ninth Circle and Terrifier. These stories are the basis of the second film in the trilogy Terrifier, released in 2016. It's a slasher film centered on Art the Clown stalking two sisters on Halloween night. Hellfest 2018. Hellfest is set on Halloween night when a group of friends goes to a traveling horror show where a serial killer, the Other, is at work in the best hiding place ever. Think about it. Everyone expects to see bodies everywhere at a scary event. It is directed by Gregory Plotkin and written by Seth M. Sherwood, Blair Butler, and Akala Cooper. Genre stalwart Tony Todd stars in the film along with Amy Forsyth, Rain Edwards, and Bex Taylor Klaus. Hellfest 2018. 2019's Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark made Fangoria's list. Andre Overdahl's Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark is based on the book series written by Alvin Schwartz. Set on Halloween in 1968, a group of teenage friends find the book written by the daughter of Bellows' family, Sarah, in a secret room. One of the children, Stella, takes the book home, and as she reads the book, new stories appear and play out on the screen. Sarah is sending a message, but what is it? You have to watch the movie to find out. The film stars Zoe Colletti, Michael Garza, Gabrielle Rush, Gil Bellows, and Dean Norris. Candy Corn from 2019. Josh Hasty's Candy Corn is an independent Halloween horror film that deserves to be celebrated more. It stars Courtney Gaines, Pancho Molar, PJ Souls, Sky Elabar, and Tony Todd, and concerns a young man tormented and killed by bullies, but resurrected by one of the local carnies who takes pity on him. It is genuinely creepy, bloody, and clearly the work of a filmmaker who loves horror and reveres the Halloween spirit. The love of candy corn is real in this film. Pet Sematary 2 from 1992. Mary Lambert's sequel to Pet Sematary goes bigger than the first with multiple resurrections. Halloween night is the centerpiece of a scene where the young boys and new friends, Jeff and Drew, go to the cemetery to tell each other spooky stories, and it gets broken up by Gus, a local policeman, and Drew's stepfather. The film stars Edward Furlong, Anthony Edwards, Clancy Brown, and Jared Rushton, and features a killer dog instead of a killer cat. WNUF Halloween Special from 2013. Chris LaMartina's WNUF Halloween Special has the setup of a Halloween special presented by the local TV station WNUF. It centers on one of the station's reporters conducting a paranormal investigation at a house where an entire family was murdered brutally. The film has commercial breaks as if the film was an actual broadcast taped on video. It is an excellent frame for what initially seems to be a demonic possession story, but might be a serial killer story after all. 1988's Night of the Demons. Kevin S. Tenney's Night of the Demons is a fun 80s horror comedy movie set on Halloween night when friends go to a party in an abandoned mortuary. Why? Because it's spookier, that's why. It stars Kathy Powell as goth queen Amelia Kincaid, horror darling Linnea Quigley, and Hal Havens. The film is perhaps most famous for Angela Franklin's seductive dance to Bauhaus song Stigmata Martyr, as she turns into a demon. Angela is the only character appearing in the entire series. The second film is also set on Halloween. Ghostwatch, 1992. Ghostwatch is the legendary British BBC broadcast of a horror mockumentary presented as a live television broadcast. It was hosted by an actual news presenter, Michael Parkinson, which lent the broadcast authenticity. The broadcast led to 1 million calls to the BBC complaining about the film and praising its quality. The plot concerns an alleged poltergeist in a family home and a paranormal investigation that goes wildly out of control. It was the British television equivalent of Orson Welles' War of the Worlds broadcast. Murder Party from 2007. Jeremy Saulnier's Murder Party is a hilarious horror comedy set on Halloween about a lonely guy, Christopher Hawley, who finds an invite to a murder party and for some reason decides to go. Probably out of loneliness, he makes a cardboard costume, bakes raisin pumpkin bread, and bids farewell to his cat. Little does he know that the invite is to a trap where angry art students want to kill someone to create art to impress an art dealer. The film stars Chris Sharp, Sandy Barnett, and frequent Saulnier collaborator and director Macon Blair. It's funny and really quite gruesome. Dark Night of the Scarecrow from 1981. Dark Night of the Scarecrow is an eerie TV movie about a gentleman, Chris Elliott, Bubba Ritter, with the mind of a child who is friends with a young girl. When a dog attacks the young girl, the locals blame Bubba, especially the angry mailman, Otis Hazelrig. A posse led by Otis kills Bubba, but they escape punishment in court. On Halloween, a supernatural vengeance starts to take out the men accused of the crime. This gem was created by J.D. Fagelson and directed by novelist Frank D. Falletta. Because it aired on television, it's light on gore, but not on atmosphere and dread. It stars Larry Drake, Charles Durning, Tanya Crow, and Jocelyn Brando. Tales of Halloween 2015. This Halloween anthology film is one where you definitely get your money's worth, clocking in with 10 interwoven segments directed by Neil Marshall, Darren Lynn Bousman, Axel Carolyn, Lucky McKee, Andrew Kesh, and John Skip, Paul Solet, Adam Giersch, and Jace Anderson, Mike Mendez, Ryan Schifrin, Dave Parker. The movie has an equally impressive cast list with Adrienne Barbeau, Barbara Crampton, Lynn Shay, Barry Bostwick, Sam Witwer, Greg Grunberg, Pat Healy, Alex Essio, Claire Kramer, Jose Pablo Cantillo, John Savage, and Carolyn Williams. That was a mouthful. The Crow, 1984. While The Crow is usually classified as a supernatural horror film, Fangoria believes it is a horror film. It has everything: a rock musician, Eric Draven, resurrected as a revenant, returning to Earth to enact supernatural vengeance on the criminals who killed him and raped and critically wounded his fiancée, Shelley. On Devil's Night, the night before Halloween, his soul is brought back by a crow who then helps him find the killers. If that's not horror, Fangoria doesn't know what is. Directed by Alex Proyas, it stars Brandon Lee, Ernie Hudson, David Patrick Kelly, and Tony Todd, Bai Ling, and Michael Wincott. Tragically, Lee died on the set after being fatally wounded by a prop gun, but his outstanding work in this film should always be remembered. And finally, the most obvious: Halloween, all of the movies, 1978 through 2022. Starting with John Carpenter's classic film in 1978 through the original series sequels, then to the Rob Zombie reboot films, and finally the trilogy of David Gordon Green movies that seemingly brought the entire franchise to an end with a film fittingly titled Halloween Ends. if you want one of the most popular Halloween movies and the prototype of Halloween horror films with 13 sequels or reboots to its credit, Halloween is it. I hope you enjoyed Fangoria's list of 13 of their favorite horror movies that are actually set on Halloween. There's only one or two of those movies that I haven't seen, but all of them are great, great movies. I hope that you take the time this Halloween season, the spooky month of October, to watch any of those. Let me know in the comments down below what are some of your must-watch movies for Halloween. And keep tuned in to the channel for more great Halloween shenanigans.